Welcome, everybody, to Good Gravy Podcast. Finally, it's been in the making for weeks since the channel got going. Before the channel was even going, we were looking at doing Good Gravy. Podcast is actually what got the channel in motion in the first place. Got the boat floating in the ocean of gravy. Really got the gravy boat moving. Was this podcast talk right here was what got it going. And so if you watch my other stuff, you'll know that my name is Eli. I've been the one so far behind like the games and stuff like that, behind playing the games, behind the editing of the videos that go up on the YouTube channel. But what some people don't know is that there is a man behind the scenes, a myth, a legend. His name is Danny. He has a channel of his own called Danny's Lounge. He's the one that's behind the shorts of the videos. He's the one that behind the social medias with the Facebook, the TikTok, the Instagram. He's the one that's making the memes. He's the meme king. He's handling all of it. All the stuff behind the scenes with it. While I'm making the videos and editing those and uploading them, he's the one that's cutting them up. So, Danny, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, first of all, it's Meme Lord.
All right, he's Meme Lord.
No, but yeah, it's fun to finally get this going. We've been trying to do this for a while. I know we talked about it a long time ago. What's it been, like 9 months now that we've been talking about it?
It's been a while. It's been almost a year since we've been talking about doing a gaming YouTube channel together. And then, finally just sitting down and editing the stuff. I remember that night, I was up all night just, goofing off. And I said, screw it. I said, it's time to make the channel. And you just woke up to a bunch of messages of like, here's the logo, here's the channel intro, the outro, all this stuff. And you're like, holy crap, it's all together. Here it is.
We talked about it that day. We were hanging out. We talked about it. And then I woke up the next morning and he's like, here's the logo, here's the intro, here's the outro, we're going. And I was like, we're actually doing this. Okay.
Yeah, it's been, so far, it has been an absolute blast. I know the channel's only been going for, 2 weeks now?
Barely.
But we've really been, in my opinion, making a move on it. Really, putting the foot forward and really doing on the grind of it. Like
actually,
watching videos and stuff all about it.
Today is 2 weeks since it started.
Huh. Should have bought some party poppers.
Because February 2nd was the day it started.
That is true. Yeah. It was at the beginning of February that I remember it.
Because I know for all the social medias, I mean, people don't need to know this, but I put February 2nd as the birthday for the social medias.
Okay.
Of course I put it for the year. I couldn't put it as 2023, but
yeah,
still.
Yeah. But it's still the day the channel was created, and all the stuff just came together. So, yeah.
And today's February 16th. It's 14 days.
Wow.
I didn't even notice that until now. So.
Well, I hope by next year, this is the kind of the layout that I'm hoping. And if it blows it out of the water, it's okay. I'm not going to complain. If it doesn't, reach the standards that I have set, that's okay. But it's always important to set goals in your life and to know what your final point is to reach and then continue the steps on the ladder going past it. But I'm hoping by in a year's time that we'll have a couple thousand subscribers, a base that wants to hear what, us idiots want to talk about 95% of the time. But I feel like we always have great conversations when we're hanging out about God knows what in this world. And, there's times where I'm just like, it would be entertaining to sit down and just bring other people into it. So if y'all hear anything during this podcast that y'all want to interpret on or give your opinions on, or if we talk about a movie or anything like that, or that you're interested in, or a topic in a game that hits a certain nerve with you or you agree with, go ahead and drop it down in the comments section below, and we'll discuss it with you in the comments too. A lot of the stuff that will be said in the comments will be brought up and discussed as well. We want to make the people that listen to this a part of it more, because this is kind of like just a community of friends that are going to sit down and discuss things going on in the world and talk about everything that's happening. So, Danny, on that note, what has been going on in your life? Let's just catch me up a little bit.
Trying to get a Hot Pocket sponsorship.
Hey, Hot Pocket. Hey, this man has been putting in the effort for that. Like, I'm telling you, a hardcore effort. If y'all just want to, like, hook him up. If anybody sees this video that has a hookup at Hot Pocket, I know it's such a long shot, but...
Hey, no. Set goals. Set some goals.
Set goals, yes. Set goals, but Hot Pocket.
That's my goal.
Look, he'll settle for, like, a 1-year supply.
A sponsored by Hot Pockets t-shirt.
All he wants is a simple sponsored by Hot Pockets t-shirt. That's all it is. That's it. Hook the man up, please. He's really been gutted for this thing. He tags things on his personal Facebook. He tags Hot Pockets at every single thing. I think it was last year, on Valentine's Day of last year.
Yeah. I asked the person behind the social media of Hot Pockets account to be my Valentine.
Yeah, and then you posted a thing as well. I remember that was like, tag, like, who's the person that you think I'd be with or something like that on Valentine's Day or whatever. And I added Hot Pockets on your Facebook. I was like, come on, man. Like, all he wants is a t-shirt. How hard is that to ask?
I just want to be acknowledged. I haven't even got a response from them yet. But no, seriously, I'm wanting to hear more about your little thing you had with a certain towing company with triple letters.
You're bringing up the past now. I pushed that so far out of my mind, dude. So, yeah, let me just elaborate the story a little bit. I was on the road coming back from a faraway land, a majestic land where my girlfriend lives. And I was on the way back. And I was going down the interstate, driving like usual in the fast lane. And my car decided to die. Okay, it was driving fine. And then every light on the dash started like just kicked on. I was going like 75 miles an hour, and suddenly that sucker went down to 30, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm in the fast lane. I was like, I gotta get over to the slow lane. People weren't letting me over in this majestic land that is AIDS. And I finally get pulled to the side of the road, and I'm looking at my car, checking everything, and I drive a newer Lexus. So they cover everything in the over the engine and stuff, so you can't really look to see if anything's wrong with your car without tools. So I was like, well, screw it. I can't figure this out. I tried to crank the car back up, and it wouldn't crank. And I was like, okay, battery's definitely shot. Something's wrong. Well, ended up having to get in contact with a certain 3-letter company that told me, it was like 12:30ish.
Yeah.
They told me that they would be there to pick me up at 1:25 with the tow truck. They said the person will be there at 1:25. I remember that phone call because I was like, oh, that's not too far away. That's perfect. It'll work. Well, 1:20 came around. 1:25 came around. 1:30 came around. Before I know it, it's 2 o'clock. And I'm like, where is this person? Tow truck after tow truck was passing by on the road. And I'm sitting there thinking, they probably drove right by me. I get a phone call that says, there'll be someone to pick you up there 4:30. It went from 1:30 to 4:30. And I said, hold up. I was like, how did that happen? It was like only 85 more miles to my house. And I'm sitting there like, hold on. How did this happen? How did it get to this point? And so finally, around 5 o'clock, the tow company shows up to pick me up. They ask me if my car will crank, and I'm like, well, if it could, do you think I would be sitting on the side of the road? I just casually, do I think I want an escort today? And so finally they got me up in the tow truck and everything, and the guy tells me as he's driving, really nice guy, granted, the guy was incredible that was a part of it. So it's not his fault. It's the company itself that was kind of iffy with things. But he was genuinely a nice guy. But the truck, had a tracker on it, and he has to legally go 5 miles below the speed limit, and on one of the busiest interstates that I've ever been on in my entire life. So already I'm irritated. I've already sat in my car for hours. I think I watched every YouTube video under the moon in that period of time of being able to sit there. And he got me. We got in the car or whatever. And then halfway through, like, I'm ready to be home. On top of that, the dude was freezing out his truck. It was like an icicle in there. Felt like just I was in Antarctica. I felt like Santa Claus was riding right beside me at this point. And we're on the way back, and he just pulls over to the side of the road, all right? And I'm like, what the heck is this man doing? I'm ready to be home. I'm like, we're, 20 miles away from home? I'm like, just keep going. Just finish it up. We've been riding forever. I'm ready to be at home in my bed. I want a nice hot shower, a nice hot meal, and I want to go to bed. He gets out and he goes, oh, the company requires that we stretch. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Do what?
Get me home. So we get out of the car. He's full on stretching, dude. He's doing like every stretch. I'm sitting there. I'm just like, oh, take me home. Please. So finally we get home. He drops the car off or whatever and he leaves. But I was just like, and then I got a call from the company the next day that was like, how was your service with the driver or whatever? And I'm sitting there thinking, like, it's funny that you ask only how your driver was, not how your phone call was, because that was the shady part where I was like, because I can guarantee you, I am not a liar. I know what I hear, and I heard they will be somebody there at 1:30 to pick you up. Several hours later, someone arrived. Oh my gosh. So it was just, I pushed it out of my head, Danny, but thank you so much for bringing that up. We couldn't talk about anything interesting. No, we had to bring up the situation about the Ripple company.
Oh, man. I don't understand that. I don't understand how that even happens. Like, how do you have the service for people. They have your service. They use it. You can't even show up on time. It takes you 3, 4, almost 5 hours just to show up. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And I think really what it is after like looking more into it, they're like the only company that offers what they offer. So they offer, you pay them a certain amount a month, for them to give you this service.
Yeah.
But if you're under 100 miles in your trip, you don't pay for any towing service. So you don't get charged for any of their driving, and they pick you up and they take you home, which is nice. That they're willing to drive the person that's driving the vehicle or broken down on the side of the road and not make you find another way to get to your destination. That's nice. So the service itself is a very nice concept.
Yeah.
The only issue that I'd have had was with the phone call operator that was like, telling me one thing and then a complete other thing happening. I understand that driving on the interstate and stuff like that, times are never going to be exact. Someone's gonna be there at 4:30 and they get there at 5. Okay, that's understandable. But when you tell somebody someone's gonna be there around 1:30 and then it jumps to about 4:30, you're like, okay, like that's a huge jump. There's not stop traffic on this
There's
interstate.
something going on there.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I come to find out as well is that the guy. So I think what happened was they told me 1:30, and the person that was supposed to come out and get me was like, "Nah, fam, I ain't coming to get him because I get off work here soon." And I think because the guy told me that I was his first customer of the night, or first person he was towing that night. So I think he had just come on to shift to me needing to be picked up. But I think because they're the only service that offers this thing that it doesn't really matter how their service is. What are you going to do?
True.
Are you going to pay the thousands of dollars that it's going to cost to call your own tow company to come pick you up, and then most likely not having them to drive you back, but having to get one of your friends to come pick you up, and being 85 miles from home? they ain't nobody gonna come pick me up. Like, I'll be walking, all right, looking like Forrest Gump out there trying to get home. I just started running.
Put some steps in.
Get that Pokemon Go going again or something. I don't know.
Hey, might as well.
If I had to walk that, I would. And you want to know the best part? Is like I'm on the side of one of the busiest interstates ever around this area. It goes between several big cities. It's known for being dangerous. And I'm pulled over on the side of the road of this interstate. And I called my dad to talk to him because I was like, yeah, I'm stuck on the side of the road. And he was like, oh, we'll just walk down to the next exit and like walk up and go get something to eat and stuff like that. I'm like, absolutely not. I will get killed. I will get squashed like a bug on the roof of a car if I do that. And he was so adamant about it. Even when I finally got home, he was still adamant. He was like, you should have just walked somewhere. Absolutely not. I did think about calling what are they called? DoorDash. And seeing if they would deliver to me. And the machine was like, nah. The app was like, nah.
Mile marker 14.
Exit ramp B.
Jesus, man. I don't blame you. I wouldn't have gone either. I'd have just sat there.
Yeah, maybe I should have just went to the movies or something. You know, there was a movie theater right next to the exit. Maybe I should have just walked up there and just went to the movies. In that amount of time, I could have probably watched like 2-3 movies.
Probably, yeah.
Like, I don't think there's anything good out right now, though.
Nah, not really. Not that I can think of right off. I mean, there's some Marvel stuff coming. Like the new Ant-Man movie's coming out.
I haven't watched anything to do with Ant-Man. You know what movie I'm actually interested in seeing? I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word on YouTube. It's a certain bear that eats something that is not meant to be consumed.
Yeah.
But for some reason, people like to consume.
If you know, you know.
It's about a bear who eats a certain substance and then goes on a killing spree and becomes the most apex predator for several hours before it dies itself. But it's based on a true story, and I think it's going to be a bomb movie. I think it is going to be incredible.
See, it's one of those movies, it knows how dumb it is, and it just goes with it.
It's playing with the stupidity of it. But the fact that it's not like they're playing with a fiction story. Like, this is real.
I mean, the bear didn't go on the real story. It didn't go on a killing spree.
I thought it did.
No. See, I thought it did too, but no, there's this other guy that I watch who does stories and stuff, and he's really good. I'll talk about that later. But so what happened is, I'll just start with the story. So the story goes is these like drug smugglers and stuff, and there was this new pilot, he was like the co-pilot, and the pilot was like the veteran guy. He had been there for a while, and so he was the guy who was like doing like smuggling the certain substances and all that.
Certain substances.
And so I think it was like the FBI or something. They got wind of what they were doing, and so they threw all the cargo out the plane, and then skydived. I can't remember which one it was, but one of them ended up, their parachute didn't open, and they landed outside of an old man's apartment.
Skaplat.
Yeah. But the bear ended up finding it, and it was a lot. And it died.
How many pounds did it eat?
Oh, man.
Do you remember? I know it was a crap ton.
It was. Hang on. Let me look this up real quick, actually.
Yeah, I was like, I saw a post on Facebook that was like telling the story about the bear. And it was like, there was
wow. 75 pounds.
That thing could have took on a T-Rex. I mean, you've seen that crackhead energy before.
Oh, man. It was valued at $2 million.
Holy crap. That was not only the most dangerous bear, but the most expensive bear. I would love to know who has that mounted up in their house, because it's mounted somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Smithsonian probably has it.
No. There's a place. I think it's Kentucky.
Of course, it's Kentucky.
It's Kentucky or somewhere. I think it's Kentucky, but I think they actually stuffed the bear, and it's like
it was stuffed with 75 pounds of.
No, but hang on. I'm gonna see. I remember from the story. I'm pretty sure they stuffed it, and it's actually in a shop. Okay, so it wasn't. It was in the wilderness of Tennessee.
Here I have the banjo my grandpa gave me, and it's just the knitting needles my grandmama used, and there's my bear that ate 75 pounds of cocaine.
Oh, okay, so it had actually been dropped in the wilderness of Tennessee, but the bear was found dead in northern Georgia and was stuffed and displayed at a mall in Kentucky, which is now the inspiration for the 2023 action comedy film coming up.
That bear went on a journey. The bear was out. That's so funny. But you know that thing was like, because you've seen the crackhead energy. Look at Florida. You've seen that crackhead energy. Like, they're insane.
And then put that in a bear?
5 pounds of this crackhead energy. Like, not too long ago, there was a man who ate another man's face because of bath salt.
Yeah.
Imagine what 75 pounds of this unknown substance can do to a bear. And so I was like, when I saw that this movie was coming out, I was like, that might be the greatest thing I've ever heard of. They could make it or break it with this. Because there's so many dumb stories that have happened in the world, like this said situation, that we could have great movies based off of. That's a kind of like a horror, like action, like comedy mix. Because that's really what we need right now. Because in all honesty, we don't have a lot of... It seems dry, in my opinion, in the movie fiasco at the moment. You know, after Endgame, it was kind of like a halt. Because...
Besides from No Way Home.
Yeah.
Because that was amazing.
Yeah, and you're kind of like looking at movies right now, and you're going, I'm not really interested. I have no concern to get into it. And I think a lot of it leads to a cause of where it's like, I'm not interested in going to the movies or buying this on my TV to watch. I'm not intrigued by it at all. So you just kind of step back from it. But when I heard that this movie was coming out, I was like, I will be at the movie theaters for that one. Night of release, I will be there.
Yeah, I want to. It comes out 4 days before my birthday.
Yeah, we're going. We will be there. And we will bring you guys a movie review on this thing. I'm telling you.
Hey, let's start movie review.
The Gravy Movie Review. Welcome to the Gravy Boat, baby. You never know what's next.
Man, I can't... Oh, there's another one coming out. It's a Dracula movie.
I saw the
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And I think that's another one that knows it's dumb, but it's going to be funny. And I want to see that one too.
I hope that they have references to National Treasure. I hope that at some point there is references because, well, Nicolas Cage was in Night at the Museum too, correct? No, that was somebody completely different. I can't even think of his name.
I was about to say no.
I can't. My brain is cooked. Like when it comes to, like I told you, man, I'm cooked when it comes to movies because that's how long it's been since there's been movies that I've been interested in actually watching. There's a lot of like kid movies and stuff like that coming out, and it seems like every single like you go to the movie theater website or whatever to see what they're playing, and you're just like, I don't even know half the crap that I'm looking at, so you just don't really care. But that Dracula movie is gonna be. I think it knows like the level of stupid that it is.
Yeah.
But there's a comedy sequence to it because like in the ad it shows the guy walk into like a relationship like therapy group meeting or whatever, and he's like, I'm in a toxic relationship and I need to get out, and everybody's like, same, and it's like, you have no idea.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be funny, and it knows it's dumb, so it's gonna be good.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage has kind of become like a meme in the movie industry, in my opinion. But if he's in a movie, you know everybody's gonna go see it.
I mean, he just had a movie with Pedro Pascal, and I can't remember what the movie's about, but it's about Nicolas Cage.
I saw ad
and
for that.
He plays himself,
Yeah, and his like the Pascal is kind of like a fan or whatever,
Yeah.
a super fan,
Yeah.
and it's just Nicolas Cage in his day to day life, like doing his thing, and then there's just this guy, like. I wonder how much they paid him literally to live his life, and they're like, "We just need someone
Well,
to
no,
follow you and film
it's
you."
a little different, but it's still he's playing Nicolas Cage. It's different and everything, but I want to see that. Speaking of Pedro Pascal, man, I know you haven't watched the Last of Us show, but it is.
I heard it's amazing.
I love it.
I really need to sit down and watch it.
I love it so much.
Hey, there's another review coming up on that one, and we gonna have to watch it.
Oh, I can review it right now.
Well, give me a minute, dog. I ain't watched it. Don't go ruin it for me, because I had the opportunity the other night when I was at work. I work a third shift job, so the other night when I was at work, I thought about it. The residents were watching it, and I wanted to watch it myself, but I was like, I want to step back because I kind of want to play the game. So do you think that knowing that playing the games would interfere with the storyline of it, me knowing it?
Okay,
or?
see, the thing with that is you can play the games and watch the show and be completely fine.
Okay.
Or you can just watch the show. The thing is, it just kind of depends. Like, I'm not like, it's more of like a critique. It's different from the games, but they're developing the story more.
Okay.
The thing is with certain characters, like with Ellie's character, it doesn't feel like Ellie from the game. It does, but she's very different. She doesn't look nearly like her, and she doesn't sound like her. And Ashley Johnson has a very distinct look and voice. Oh, but a cool thing with that is there's going to be, I believe, a flashback, and Ashley Johnson, who played Ellie in the games, is going to be, I can't remember her name, the one who plays her in the show. She's going to be Ellie's mom in the show.
You were telling me something about that before.
Yeah. She's like, it's her, and she's basically just like, here's the role. It's kind of cool.
It's kind of like a pass-off. So
Yeah.
I thought that Netflix did a good adaptation with The Witcher. Now, I've never played through The Witcher, but I know the story of The Witcher. I read the book, or a few of the books, or whatever. I think I read the first, 3 books of The Witcher.
Yeah, the show's more based off the books anyways.
Well, the critique that I have with The Witcher is now that the man who played Geralt,
Henry Cavill.
he's not going to be in the next one.
No, he's going to be in season 3, and they're going to send him off, and then Liam Hemsworth is coming in.
But see, here's the thing is, the reason that The Witcher was good was because he was telling the directors, shut your mouth, this isn't right, we're going to fix it. But
Liam and the other actors and actresses, he was telling them, like, while they were filming, he was like, hey,
fix this.
This is what you should do, this is how they act. He was just giving advice, just telling them, like, this is the character, because he knows them.
Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, when I was listening to one of the actresses talk about, going into the script reading, that he came in and he was telling them, like, this script is all wrong. And he came in with, like, his own script, like, written and, like, scratched things out and corrected what they had originally wrote down. And he told them, basically, if you want this to succeed, you got to make sure that your fan base is happy with what you put out. And I think it's due to him that The Witcher was so good. Because we've had game adaptations before in the TV shows and movies, and it wasn't good.
Yeah.
I can't think of the last time that I played a good game that's based off a TV show or a movie, or watched a good movie that's based off a video game. Because the
Ready Player One.
I've never even watched it and or did anything with it. So
Well, it's just a movie, but it's really good. It's a really good movie. You should check it out.
I definitely look into it. But it's a difficult concept to be in my opinion, when it comes to games being movies, or movies being games, is because games, there's a lot of people who disagree with this statement, but I think it's more or less people who don't play good games. But games like, let's say, Call of Duty, they could come out with a movie based on Call of Duty and it'd be like any other war movie.
Yeah.
Except just blown out of the water and stupid. You look at like Halo. They tried to do that whole thing, and last I heard that was a living nightmare. I
Yeah.
didn't even hear about it for too long. All I heard was a bunch of people weren't happy.
I didn't even check it out.
But video games to movies and movies into games, each one has their own storyline already. And if you don't follow along with said storyline to it, then you're not going to get good success. You could take all the cutscenes from God of War, put them together, and it would be kind of like a mini movie. But when the video game kicks in and you're playing as the character, you're a part of that movie. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of like the outcome. And that's one reason, too, if you're on the channel and you see the Hogwarts Legacy stuff, I love that game so far. I'm several hours into it. And I love the game so far because it's not basing it off of the Harry Potter movies. It's basing it off of your character and where you are. But they did a great job at adapting to that and bringing you in, not tampering with the story of Harry Potter, but also allowing you to have your own story, your own outcome, your own way of life with it. It's not like they could come out with a Hogwarts Legacy movie now, because everything's different.
Because if it was like a Harry Potter game, it wouldn't be the same. I mean, it could be if they still did it open world, but you'd know what happened. They wouldn't be able to change much.
Exactly. You would always be the plot point, the plot protection. You're the main character kind of deal. You're Harry Potter or the boy who lived. You're gonna succeed no matter what you do. You're going to win. This game, I'm playing more of like a bad, like, annoying type.
See, that's what I want to do. Is I wanted to like jump into the game and just be a bad guy.
Yeah, the Sorting Hat. I told myself when I was going through it, I did the test online, and you can go do the test online and stuff like that. But man, I came out as a Hufflepuff. I was like, nah. I was like, I'm not okay with that. And so I told myself, I was like, please, for the love of God, I said, do not make me a Hufflepuff or a Ravenclaw. I said, that is all I don't want to be. I got put into Hufflepuff, and I said, well, I'm going to let the game decide, because I knew it had its own selection. So you answer a couple questions, and then the Sorting Hat puts you into a house. And I said, okay, if it picks Gryffindor, I'm going to be goody two-shoes. I'm going to be too kind about everything. I'm going to be nice about everything I could possibly be nice about.
Well, the goody two-shoes, I think that's more Hufflepuff.
Well, Gryffindor Hufflepuff side is more goody two-shoes.
It's on the good side, but it's more just like,
And, but I said, if it picks Slytherin for me, I said, I am going to be the most annoying, obnoxious person. I'm not going to care, what anybody has to say. I'm not going to talk to any of the people. I'm going to do the quest. I'm going to, focus on it. But when, main character stuff happens, I'm going to be that guy that's like, oh, I got secrets. It's like, oh, do you want to sneak into the restricted section of the library? Yes, let's do it. Can I release a big snake into the school? I hope so. Is there a part where you can let a troll into the school? I hope. I'll do it. I'm a Slytherin. Watch me. I go into people's dorms and stuff like that, and I'm like, hey, I'm a Slytherin. I'll rob you. I don't care. At this point, I'm like,
I watched the video. That was the first thing you did. You were like, wait, can I rob people?
Yeah, dude, looting. Games have taught me to loot. I think that's going to help me out in survival, too, when the zombie apocalypse breaks out in the world.
Boy, don't get me started on the zombie apocalypse.
I'll loot the crap out of anything, man.
That's a whole episode.
But, I enjoy when games allow you to have that aspect of freedom. Where it feels like you are writing your story. And I feel like a lot of games now have turned away from that idea. Now, certain games are good for, linear, which is like God of War. It does a wonderful job at giving you the story. And it's not, back in the day with the PS1 and PS2 versions, it was a hack and slash. Now it's got this whole aspect to it that's building up along with the generations. Mm-hmm. So they're doing a good job at building to the game. But then you look at things like Call of Duty that's just declined. And if we want a good war game that's a multiplayer shooter, they need competition. And I think that's what drives a lot of people is that competition. And they just don't have it right now because they know that they don't have anything to worry about, nothing to focus on. And it's leading to a lot of these causes where it's turning into they're going to buy it because it's the only one of its kind right now. But with Harry Potter Legacy coming out, with God of War God of War Ragnarok that just released not too long ago, I haven't played through it yet. I want to.
I have. Oh man, I hit platinum in 5 days.
Whoo, boy. See, that's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen with me and Harry Potter, or with the Hogwarts Legacy. Because I genuinely, if you watch my videos, I've cut out a lot of my audio parts where I'm talking because I'm doing nothing but going, "Oh my gosh, this game looks amazing." The whole first episode was me going, "This game is gorgeous." Like,
I know I haven't seen it. I've just seen your videos on it. I don't even know
it's
what
amazing.
it really looks like.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I play it on a PS5, so like the graphics are just out of this world. You see the pores in people's faces, but it's not like overkill. It's like just enough.
It's great.
Yeah, you see the expressions on characters' faces can give out to you, is that person being genuine? You know, there's one character at the moment who I've ran into who I'm convinced is not a good character.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. The guy that wasn't looking at you?
Well, that and the Sebastian. Something just seems off about them.
Yeah.
You know,
okay,
it might just be because they're Slytherin. I don't know. But
no, the thing I wanted to tell you actually about that, because I looked it up, because I thought that he was, and I looked it up, and the guy that wasn't, he was like looking away from you, he's blind.
See, that's what I thought because of the way his eyes looked in the game, but I couldn't tell if that was a graphical thing going on.
No, he is
he's
blind.
I figured it was because he was blind. That's why I was like, okay, is there a reason? Because I felt like they would have, let us know what's going on there.
Yeah.
But so far, like, I was blown away when I walked by the windows in the Slytherin house because it's underwater.
Yeah.
And I was not ready for that. And that's just the magical world of Harry Potter, I guess. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. And in the next part that's being uploaded is, I'm walking, I don't want to give too much away, but I'm walking around outside and it's just, you look up in the sky and it's not like there's a dead spot on the screen. There's something going on no matter what. The plants are making sounds. There's leaping toad mushrooms and stuff like that the mushrooms are literally jumping and like falling right back into the ground and stuff like that. Some of the tulips are like making like horn noises and stuff like that, and you collect these things to make potions later on. And I'm like, this is a really, really awesome concept. You walk into the town of Hogsmeade and everything is just so alive. There's characters doing stuff constantly. It's not like there's dead spots. And I think that really shows the progress that we've made video game wise from what I used to play on the PS1. Comparative to PS1 days, this is insane. If you would have showed this to me as a kid, my brain would have probably blew out of my head.
Yeah.
But just to see where it is now, that shows me that developers can, when they have a passion for a game, they can do it. Oh, yeah. And it's the same with movies now too. If they have a passion for it, you can tell. You can tell by the product that they put out. And at this point, I've reached an age where I'm not spending money on something that doesn't put effort into what they want. I want a developer or a director to be into what they're doing. If they're not, then I'm not going to be into it. I don't care. Battle passes, loot crates, all that stuff has ruined video games in my opinion. Used to, you'd buy a $60 game at the store, you'd put it in your console, you'd play it, you wouldn't have a multiplayer connection, it wouldn't be about 6v6, 12v12, Warzone, it wouldn't be about any of that kind of crap. It would be dedicated to, is this person going to buy the $60 game, and then next year when we release the $60 game, are they going to come back to it? Now it's just about how much money can we drain out of you right now in this moment. We don't care if you return. We just want you to drop money. And I think that's going to be, in my personal opinion, I think that's going to be the downfall of a lot of companies right now, is that, backtrack of where it's at. So
that's why I stopped playing all the Call of Duty games, the Warzones that have came out. After I think it was Call of Duty Black Ops 3, I just stopped. Because I played that one and I was like, this is extremely different from what they've been doing. And I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
And so I just stopped playing. And I just moved on. I was like, I miss good single-player games. You do have The Last of Us. You have The Last of Us 1 and 2, which are fantastic.
Well, going into the storyline of Call of Duty, Black Ops 4 released with no campaign.
I know.
There was no way to build up a character's development whatsoever. even though the multiplayer was nice, I like to have something to go to. I have the new Modern Warfare 2, and I play it with my friends and, like, my family and stuff like that play the game, but I'm not invested. There's nothing to do. And now it's even got to a point where even the multiplayer is dull. Like, I get on and I'm like, there's nothing to do. I'm at the max level now. Whoop-de-doo. There's no prestige. Let's take away things that people loved in the community and then give us crap that we didn't ask for. And then, look, I'm one of those people who think that a game should be based on being a game, being enjoyable. Don't aim to offend people. Don't make your game specifically in a way to offend people. But don't push things so hard that your game then struggles. It's like Call of Duty put more effort into their political correctness than they did put into a storyline. I think it's important for a game to have those nerve-wracking moments, like in the original Modern Warfare 2 when, spoiler alert, if you ain't played that yet, then God bless your soul.
It's been a meme everywhere, so, I mean.
But Ghost, dying and getting shot by Shepard, and then thrown and, burnt alive or whatever. Well, he's probably dead at that point. But, he was burnt up. His body was burnt up. That made your heart sink and it made you grow a hatred more for Shepard. But in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022, there's nothing. Why do I care? There's nothing happening that's gut wrenching. There's certain parts where it's like it should be sneaky mission kind of deal. It should be serious. Like you're walking through enemy lines, and your character's joking with the other person on the end of the mic, and you're like, why? Why is this not being serious? Like, there's a helicopter flying over on your six. Let me know what's going on, not going, oh, I didn't know you smoked. Oh, my wife hates it. I don't care. That's crappy character development. Like, make it serious. Make me care. Like, as a kid, I still remember characters from those campaigns because they used to care about their game, and now... I'm thankful that we have developers like isn't Naughty Dog the one that's over Last of Us?
Yep.
They made Last of Us, Uncharted.
Oh man, now my mind's blanking. I've forgotten what else they made.
They've had some bangers though.
They make. Speaking of them, actually, they're actually. You played Uncharted, didn't you?
Oh, dude, I got the first Uncharted with the PS3 when I purchased the PS3, and I fell in love with that game. And then I bought the second Uncharted when it came out. Day of release, I went and picked that thing up. And it had a multiplayer to it. And I was like, okay. I was like, it's a nice multiplayer. They took areas from the campaign and put it in there. But the campaign was still... The story was still the main focus. I think it was Uncharted 3 that I bought it. And it seemed like the campaign was like, throw that thing to the side. We'll get to it. Bring in that multiplayer, and it started turning into like a third-person Call of Duty. And I'm pretty sure with the last Uncharted 4 that came out, I think that's the last one that came out. I bought it, and I think I played it for like an hour, and I ended up giving it away to one of my friends because I was like, "This game sucks." It's focused primarily on campaign or on the multiplayer. It's got a whole perk system now, create a class system. I'm like, this just became knockoff Call of Duty now. It feels like I'm playing a knockoff Walmart brand ripoff of Call of Duty.
I heard that game was, like, the story was good. I don't know, I've heard people, like, raving about it. I don't know. I know there was, I don't remember the name of the game, but they brought in the new characters. I think it was the 2 females, and that was the last one they did. But on that, they're actually not making any more. Yeah, at least from what they've said.
I heard they stepped back from it, and I don't know if... Did Uncharted 4 come out after Last of Us? The first part of Last of Us came out?
No, I don't think so.
Or did they finish Uncharted first before they got to Last of Us?
I don't know. Let me see.
I guess the reason I didn't like Uncharted 4's campaign so much is because it became so action-packed.
Okay, Uncharted 4 was definitely after. It was 2016. Because The Last of Us came out.
See, I haven't played The Last of Us yet.
It's been a while.
But I certainly want to, and I will record it for the channel as well. But dude, something about... Don't get me wrong. I'm not a person who gets jump scared. I'm not a person that gets scared by horror games and stuff like that. However, I don't like it.
When you, I'm telling you, okay. So they remastered.
I heard game. That's what makes
and
me
it's on
play.
PS5.
Yeah, that's what makes me
play.
play.
And it looks amazing. And you need to play it. You need to play that one. You need to play the second one. You're gonna get mad at the second one, but oh well. You're gonna push through it and you're gonna play it because I want to talk about it because there's so many people that hate on that game. But I love Part 2. Just because a certain thing happens, people get mad and they can't. I don't get it. I don't get why people are so mad just because something happens. I mean, I get it. Don't worry. Like, I was upset too, but I understood what they were trying to do with the story.
Joel dies, doesn't he? I've seen memes.
Let's just say it's a hole-in-one. He gets beaten to death by a golf club. Spoilers, it came out in like 2020.
Thanks, man.
It's been like 3 years. If you ain't...
Once you haven't played a game within the first year, I think you pass up all spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Like, if I were to play, completely give you the spoiler ending to what's going on in Hogwarts Legacy, I think that's kind of a slap in the face because some people want to take it slow and do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But I think when a game's been out for a year, at that point, if I tell you a spoiler, then it's on your own fault, for not playing it. Especially if you bring it up and want to talk to me about it. Then I'm going to say stuff that's going to end up spoiling something.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to have you sit in here when I play The Last of Us on the PS5 with the updated version.
I want to because I want to see you play it.
Yeah.
I want to see the first moment you encounter clickers.
I'm going to... Those things freak me out, man. The way they move, I don't like that. It's movement that bothers me. See, one of my biggest fears is, I know this sounds so sketch, and a lot of people are like, why? Is I have two things. Contortionist. Like, I cannot stand it when someone bends in a way that they should not bend. And I don't know if it's just because I'm getting old and, like, I can't even barely function that way anymore. Or... spiders, big spiders. Little spiders don't bother me at all. But if there's a spider that is as big as my hand or bigger, and if I stomp it and it grabs my foot and throws it to the side, that's when I'm like, okay, that spider's too big. When I hear there's spiders that jump out of trees and attack birds, I say, God, what were you thinking?
Okay, so to end off on the Last of Us, if anybody listening knows what the Rat King is,
what the heck?
Just know he's going to be playing that pretty soon, and he's going to encounter that in Part 2. And it's one of the... It's a part of the game, yeah. It's a moment you won't forget.
See, it won't be long either. I'm getting a face cam and stuff set up as well. So we're going to start doing horror games and stuff like that together. But like I said, man, if it's a horror game that involves contortionists, you'll see me get up and run. I don't like to see it. It really, like, I feel the hairs on my body stand up. I'm like, God, that ain't right. It ain't right.
I don't blame you. It makes me cringe.
It ain't human. If you bend over in front of me like that, like the freaking Grudge, you're getting domed in the head with my foot. All right, I will kick you. I don't care. Don't bend over in front of me like that. I will absolutely knock you out. Because at that point, it's flight or fight. I'm not a fast runner, dude. I'll take you out.
And then slowly jog away.
I'm just a couple curb stomps and get it over with. I'm helping the world. One stomp at a time. Saving the world.
I can't wait until you play The Last of Us. It is so good.
I'll definitely get it. That's for sure. But, what else has been going on?
There was some stuff I wanted to talk about. Let's see here. Well, there's a bunch of stuff we could talk about. You had mentioned woolly mammoths. And about how they're...
yes. Let's wrap up the last 10 minutes with woolly mammoth talk.
Well, if I go into any of the other stuff, it's going to take
I know.
a while.
So I was reading an article when I was at work one night, and I thought it was kind of... It's stupid. We have movie after movie explaining why it is not smart to start dabbling in recreating the past.
Yeah.
There's a reason that animals went extinct, such as dinosaurs. Not to pinpoint any movie out Jurassic Park that tells us why Jurassic Park, why we should never, ever, ever bring anything back from the dead Jurassic Park. But for some reason, scientists are now dabbling in saying that we will have a woolly mammoth brought back to the species on Earth by 2024. Apparently, that's so-called. What they're looking at is 2024 will be when they're doing it. And in reading the article, they were saying that they were splicing genetic code from, I know at this point some people are like, "Whoo, that's you go a little far there," but they're splicing genetic code from an African elephant, and they're going to hook it with the genetic code that they got from one that was frozen in ice. And apparently, they have found a way to revive the genetic code to bring it back to life. So if they can mix these genetic codes together and then put this genetic code into a living womb of a African elephant, apparently it can be born. And I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, this is a woolly mammoth we're talking about. Yes, woolly mammoths can be dangerous. However, my fear is, where's it going to go after that succeeds? Are we going to get to the point where we're going, ooh, we can make dinosaurs? Or, ooh, we can make these wolves that have went extinct, like dire wolves.
Well, I mean, it still wouldn't be dinosaurs, and it still wouldn't be a woolly mammoth. Because technically, it's just going to be...
a hairy African elephant.
Some kind of like... technically, yeah. But, I mean, it'll kind of be like a clone. I mean, it's tampered with. So, I mean, technically, it's just kind of like a clone.
Well, the thing is, too, is we have the technology to clone. It's illegal in all the world to clone. There was tests done back in the day with Albert Einstein and stuff like that, where they genetically bred humans with high IQs. I know that sounds crazy, treating us like we're like dogs for a project, state fair.
That hasn't been in the history books.
Calm down, Hitler. Yeah, so they did that or whatever, and y'all can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. It's been a long time since I read anything about this, but they took two adults with very high IQs, and they had a child, and the IQ was out of this world. Like, the baby was just smart. And they basically said, okay, we're pushing it now. Like, we keep doing that, we're going to have superhumans. And so, but what's really like, and I know it's illegal, but people do things that are illegal every day. So what's stopping the government, because I don't much trust them in the first place, to be breeding these superhumans, trying to aim to get this, to have it. And then you look at it as well, where it's like, well, if we're going to genetically modify animals, we've already done it with breeding pairs, taking a pit bull and breeding it with like a freaking chihuahua and getting these ugly natural disasters. It's not healthy for them, breeding them in a certain way. So would it get to a point as well to be unhealthy for humans? Or would it really cause a problem if this woolly mammoth that they're making has the genetic makeup of a woolly mammoth and then breeds with an African elephant because it, has the genes for it? Would we get one of those nasty, like, kind of like half hairy dogs that's kind of like skin and hair, like a little bit of hair? And what kind of efforts would it cause? I know that I'm going really deep into it, but there's a reason we don't mess with genetic code. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And when you get into dealing with DNA, you could really cause some damage to a entire species. If they are to make this woolly mammoth, let's say it's successful and they do all this crazy stuff with this woolly mammoth, and then somehow a bunch of them get put out into the wild. And they're like, oh, we want them to roam the earth. Well, 2-3 generations later of these woolly mammoths, what if something starts going bad wrong with them? And they're carrying something that could cause major issues down the line for other things. What if it affects the lion population? What if after that it starts affecting the antelopes? And, we're already dealing on the side of danger with a bunch of animals about to go extinct or getting close to the edge of extinction. We release something back out into the world that's not meant to be there. There's a reason that's gone extinct in the first place, and how the world's working now. We don't need to reintroduce anything to it. Let the world beat the world. We've done enough damage as humans on this earth in the first place. Oh, yeah. Last thing we need to start messing with is what it naturally grows. But
and the thing with because people want dinosaurs for some reason.
Dude, I mean, if I could ride a velociraptor, I would.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're not dinosaurs. We don't, or at least I don't think we really know what they look like, because it's just...
No, we don't.
It's just bones. It's the fossils.
I mean, look at a hippo skull. If you look at a hippo skull and you mask it the way that they mask the way a T-Rex's head would look, it looks like this predator thing, from the movie Predator and stuff like that. You see that, and you're like, oh, that's scary. But then you see the hippo's head, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's still scary if you saw it in person, but it doesn't look intimidating, as intimidating as looking like the predator's face. Yeah. So something, I'm not 100% convinced. This will be something that we get onto more into the next podcast as well. We'll remember to talk about it more with it. But I believe, I'm going to leave y'all on a note here with it, and you can give me a little bit of infill with what your thoughts are. I believe T-Rexes were dragons. I believe 110%, after doing a lot of looking into it, I believe that T-Rexes, the bone makeup of them, the skeletal work of them, I believe that their short little arms were just the bases of the wings, and that's the only thing that has survived over however long they've been dead. While the wing makeup of the bone inside the wing and the cartilage inside the wing has now decomposed, that there is buildup of, us. We filled in the gaps saying this is what they would look like. We don't know. But through generation to generation now, every single culture has had a depiction of a dragon when some of these cultures have never run into each other.
Yep.
So there's somewhere down the line, dragons,
which is the same with seeing flying things in the sky or other things of that nature.
Yeah. So you agree with me on that topic?
Oh yeah, I've already thought about this before, because it's kind of dumb, but if you think about it, it's kind of it's fun to think about. Maybe they were dragons. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll never know unless they start taking genetic makeup and start mixing things together
and making abominations and monsters.
Yeah. I mean, still we would never know. If they even took lizard DNA or frog DNA or whatever the heck they want to take and mix it with a dinosaur's DNA, if they were to do that, then realistically, thinking about it, we're going to get, really, like you said, an abomination. This is what we're going to get.
The thing was, because in Jurassic Park, those aren't dinosaurs. They're monsters.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're not dinosaurs. We don't know what dinosaurs look like. We probably never will.
God, I hope not. I really hope that, we don't genetically get to that. Because we know for a fact these things were predators. Velociraptors, we know that they were predators. Now, do we fully know whether they were smart enough to hunt in a flock, or were they as dumb as a chicken where they'll look up in the air during rain and drown? But they must have been successful somewhere. You start mixing these things in, and some things that ends in Jurassic Park aren't from, you see these these dinosaurs, quote unquote, walking around together, but most of those probably would have never even ran into each other in reality, because they were different time periods.
Yeah.
Especially the last Jurassic Park movie had a big turkey thing that was kind of blind, used its sense of smell, and had big talons and claws, and it fought with a T-Rex. Those two would have never met each other. That one was from a closer period to us than the last one. But then again, science doesn't really know either how old these things are. Nobody really knows how old these things are. They're bones in the ground, and no matter how much we test them, we're not 100% accurate, because no one was here to tell us whether it was.
Yep.
We just know that they were once here, and now they're not. And I think there's a reason that they're not here no more. It's something that's gotta go, and especially as big as the ocean is, everybody's always saying things like, all of the ocean's big and empty. Why do we care about exploring it? There's probably something in that big emptiness that lives in that big emptiness.
Oh, there is. Because they're whales will go down. I can't remember where it's at, but whales will go down, and there's something down there to where it's brave enough to just take a bite out of the whale and then just leave it.
Yeah.
Not eat it, just
and
take a bite out of it and leave.
And I don't think it's no megalodon.
No.
I think that thing's gone, but there's something else that's down there.
It's got to be something that can't just survive on meat, because I don't know, because a megalodon can't survive for that long.
It would have to eat almost every single fish in the ocean.
It would have to constantly eat. That's the only thing it could do. Which is why it couldn't survive. But I don't know.
But whales are a very clear pattern of saying that, hey, big creatures can live. And it's crazy to think, too, is like you look at whales and like apparently if they're that clicking sound they make underwater to communicate.
Yeah.
If they were above water and made that sound, apparently our eardrums would explode. Because of how high of a decibel that is. Which is insane to me to think about.
Yeah, it sounds like music under the water.
Yeah, but just telling me that, or knowing that that's what a whale can do. This is a whale we're talking about. I've seen the way killer whales destroy a seal. They're not dumb. They're very smart animals.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to the point where they play with their food.
Yeah.
If they're smart, and the way dolphins are smart, the way the sharks are smart, and the way they move, and what they have to do to survive, if something has lived, I mean, look at crocodiles and alligators and turtles. These things lived during the dinosaur period, the Jurassic era of life. They're still alive. If that smarts have had this many generations to learn, then if something is in the ocean that is thriving, or let's not say thriving, but has survived this many generations, it's got to be a genius. There's many. I'll send you a story to read too, and we'll talk about it on the next podcast as well. But there was a Russian experiment that did not go well, and I don't know if it's a true story or not, so don't quote me on it. I need to do some more research on it, but I'm just going to mention it a little bit. It's saying that there was an octopus type creature in a lake in Russia that was genius, and to the point of where they just left it.
Well, see, the thing with that is they are actually really intelligent.
Octopuses are insane.
They'll just get out of if in zoos or aquariums.
They'll crawl to the other one. Yeah,
they'll get out.
Yeah.
And they just do it to mess with the workers.
Yeah, and then they just climb back in.
Yeah.
I read a story where there was an octopus climbing from its enclosure, its aquarium. It was going to the top, sticking one of its little tentacles out, unlatching its own thing, getting out, going across the path, climbing into the tank for the exotic fish, eating, and then climbing back to its tank. And I'm sitting there thinking, that sucker said, I want that food. It crawled over there and got that food. Yeah. Or I hear stories about people who feed octopus or whatever, or at the zoo, they'll put shrimp or something in the tank for it to eat, and one of the shrimp will be rotten, and the octopus will get ticked off about it, and it'll throw it at them. It's like, no, how dare you bring me back my shrimp?
They're extremely intelligent.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah, I wonder. I know I was just sitting here saying how it's a dumb idea, but if we took the DNA makeup of an octopus, their mind, and we're able to mix it with something else, what in the world could we create? And I guarantee you, I'm not the first one to make this decision, especially with looking at science. Their goal, a lot of people in the science field, their goal is to maneuver and make the most genius thing. They've tested this kind of stuff for years. So anybody who has this idea where they want to have this hypothesis, where they look at something, they're going to look at an octopus and say, that's one of the smartest creatures in the world. I wonder. And they're thinking, can I do this? And I guarantee you somewhere somebody's done something. Now, if the FBI busts them out the door tomorrow and tell me to, I just disappear, then, it's, it's one of the things where I look too deep into something.
Let's just not look too deep into these kind of things. Okay,
yeah, I'm just going to stay on my gravy. I'm just going to stay on my gravy boat.
And floating along, just casual.
Yeah,
just not.
I don't want to be. I'm not I'm not into conspiracy theory. I like watching them and stuff like that, and then listening to them and stuff. But I'm not one that sits there and creates conspiracy things on my own accord. But I just don't trust a lot of people, and I know that I'm not. If I have a thought, that I'm probably not the first person to ever have that thought. And some people have a lot more money than I do, and a lot more care and effort and time to put into said things. So I just don't put it past somebody somewhere to have tested this stuff, especially Russia. Let's be honest, they test a lot of things, and
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised that Cocaine Bear isn't from Russia. Their bears are just drunk on vodka 95% of the time. So, but well, it was nice having you hang out, Danny. And
Yeah, it's been fun.
so if y'all want to, y'all can go over to Danny's channel. It's called Danny's Lounge. It's linked with the Gravy Gaming channel. And
I don't have any content up on it right now, but it'll be soon.
But yeah, if you ever come across, one of the shorts that's getting uploaded, if you want to follow the TikTok page, the Facebook page, the Instagram page for Gravy Gaming, you're more than welcome to. He's the one that handles all of that stuff. So really, you have him to thank for that. He's kind of behind the scenes with a lot of the effort and stuff going on. But we plan on doing a lot more stuff together when it comes down to it. And he's over here trying to play music on his phone while I'm trying to wrap up the podcast.
I'm trying to get the TikTok page because you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Gravy Gaming, and for TikTok, it is Gravy Gaming 8.
Oh, we
I'm
didn't
just
get the Gravy Gaming logo with 8. Or with TikTok, we got
But-
Gravy Gaming 8.
Yeah, okay. But it's Gravy Gaming on Facebook. Let's see here. Just want to make sure Instagram is correct. Instagram is Gravy Gaming 976, but it will also be linked in the description. So,
But yeah, thank you guys so much for hopping on this gravy boat with us on Good Gravy. We hope you enjoyed and can't wait to see you for the next one. Thanks for watching.